you recall the last time that you were here,
Yes.
I was telling you that I could always see you getting back with Puffy in a little way.
I remember you said
Yes.
that. Yes.
Or in my mind,
Look it.
or in my mind, getting together permanently with
Well, first of all,
Pitbull.
right, Pitbull. It's crazy. Everybody came alive. They
Everybody
all
has-
had something to say.
Yeah, everybody has an opinion.
Yes. It's funny to me.
Before Bennifer, before the Super Bowl halftime shows and the Vegas residencies, Jennifer Lopez was just Jenny from the block, rising fast, dominating charts, and dancing straight into the arms of one of hip-hop's biggest moguls, Sean Diddy Combs. Their relationship wasn't your average celebrity fling. It was loud, chaotic, magnetic, and now, decades later, it's being dragged back into the spotlight as Diddy faces a wave of explosive allegations and federal scrutiny. So how did J.Lo go from standing beside Diddy in a Manhattan courtroom to keeping quiet while his empire crumbles?
He was larger than life, but at first I didn't like him at all. You know, I didn't. I thought he was like, you know, ick. I didn't like him because, you know, Sean and I were very different that way. You know, I was very like family oriented and a kind of a, you know, the married type. You know, I was actually, when we first worked together in the video, I was married, even though I was going through problems, nobody knew that, you know what I mean? And I wanted my family, and even though at that time it was not going well, you know what I mean? That was who I was, that's how I was raised.
The two kept in touch over the next few years, and when Jennifer left her marriage, they became much more than just friends.
Once I got to know him, and, you know, we became friends first, and then we developed this bond. We both understood where we were at that time in our lives, and we both knew nobody else understood exactly how we felt. So in that way, we kind of bonded.
It just became this really big thing. It became her energy and her glamour put together with his energy and his glamour. And it was just like this explosive, high fashion, cutting edge duo. Fully blown up, mainstream, in your face, hot shoes, hot dresses, hot clothes, hot shades, hot cars, hot parties, on fire.
Let's rewind. It's the late 90s. Jennifer Lopez had just come off her breakout performance in Selena and was transitioning into music, launching her debut album, On the Six. At the same time, Diddy, then known as Puff Daddy, was already an industry giant. Bad Boy Records was at its peak, and he was producing hits left and right. When the two got together in 1999, the media exploded. Paparazzi chased them through New York. Red carpet photos dominated tabloids, and fans were obsessed with their chemistry. Together, they embodied fame, fashion, and flash. But behind the scenes, that glitz came with chaos. Everything changed on one infamous December night in 1999. Jennifer Lopez and Diddy were at Club New York when a shooting broke out, gunfire rang out, and 3 people were injured. As the crowd scattered, Diddy, J.Lo, and his entourage fled the scene in a vehicle. When police pulled them over, they found a loaded gun in the car. Both Diddy and Jennifer were arrested. She spent over 12 hours in jail. For J.Lo, it was a shocking brush with the law. She was quickly cleared of any wrongdoing, but the headlines were merciless. Her rising star was now being linked to gun violence, crime, and hip-hop's wildest controversies. Meanwhile, Diddy faced serious legal battles in the aftermath. The club shooting led to years of court appearances, legal fees, and press scandals. And for Jennifer, that night was a turning point. Just a year later, in 2001, she ended the relationship. She didn't make a dramatic public statement, but it was clear she was done. In interviews years later, she talked about the toll that relationship took. She said she realized being with someone equally famous in the middle of intense scrutiny was too much. She didn't name names, but the timeline spoke volumes. Now fast forward to today, 2024 and 2025. Diddy is once again front page news, but not for music. He's under intense federal investigation, and multiple lawsuits have surfaced accusing him of years of misconduct, manipulation, and abuse.
What is a freak off? The freak off essentially was something that Cassie said she learned about through Sean Combs about a year into their relationship. He described it as voyeurism.
He had everything to do with what she was wearing. She said she would buy outfits from sex shops and see which one he wanted her to wear. And then inside the actual hotel rooms of their apartments where the freak offs took place, she said that Combs was in charge of lighting. It began with candles, it then moved to studio lighting.
And suddenly, people are looking back at all the women who were around him during those years, asking who knew what and when. Jennifer Lopez hasn't spoken out about the current allegations, but the internet hasn't forgotten. That 1999 arrest is now being re-examined in a much darker light. What used to seem like a messy celebrity scandal is now part of a bigger pattern of alleged violence and cover-ups. Some legal experts believe that Night at Club New York could come up in court again, not because J.Lo did anything wrong, she didn't, but because she was a key witness to one of the first major public incidents in Diddy's long trail of controversies. The question isn't just what happened in that car, it's what else she might have seen during their relationship, and why she walked away so quickly after standing by his side through a criminal trial. To this day, Jennifer keeps things professional. She never slams Diddy publicly. She focuses on her music, her brand, and her relationship with Ben Affleck. But the timing of her departure from Diddy's life is something fans keep coming back to. Did she see red flags early on? Was she one of the first to escape before things got worse? And is her silence a form of self-protection or something deeper? What's clear is this: Jennifer Lopez may have walked away from Diddy in the early 2000s, but her name is forever tied to one of the most pivotal moments in his public life. And now, with Diddy under legal fire like never before, people are revisiting the past, looking at old photos, old headlines, and old relationships through a brand new lens. J.Lo's time with Diddy may have been brief, but it left an imprint. And as the walls continue to close in on him, that chapter might turn out to be a critical piece of the puzzle.
It was cool for the video. That's what being an artist is about, is also getting uncomfortable and being fearless enough to do things like that.
But there's a different look from the 2000 Grammys that changed the fashion game forever.
You saw that green Versace dress that J.Lo wore before any of us. When she came out, what did you say when you saw that dress for the first time?
Just wow. We were all having such a great time in fashion and pushing the fashion envelopes, and then we were just stepping up our game. I thought it was gonna really change the game, you know, as far as for her in fashion, but I didn't know how big it was gonna be. But it was a great moment for her. She deserved it. She's one of the flyest out there.
Yeah, well, she thinks that of you too. She named you one of the great loves of her life.
Yeah,
Was she one of yours too?
Yeah, without a doubt.